Welcome to Football Scientific. I'm Aaron Sauter, I'm a writer for FootballAnalyst1.com. I write about the Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL. Also, I'm a writer for CFLNewsHub.com. I write about the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the CFL. Today I'll be writing a game preview for their second preseason game against the Toronto Argonauts. Also, on Football Scientific, we discuss the UFL, the IFL, the NAL, and the ELF, the European League of Football. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Tyler the Tiger. What up? I'm Tyler the Tiger. Is it another day of predictions? Yes, it is another day of predictions. It's another super Predict-a-Palooza day. Whoop whoop, I love Predict-a-Palooza. We have been so successful. We keep getting these right, and it's awesome. Awesome. It is pretty awesome. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We're going to go through NFL news first, and we're going to get into our predictions. Yes, let's get it. Let's go. Okay, all right. So first, NFL news over the last 24 hours or so. Atlanta Falcons, they have restructured free agent. They have agreed to a contract with restricted free agent center Ryan Neusel. And he's going to get a 2-year contract for $9.5 million. And he gets guaranteed $6.25 million. Pretty good deal. Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is going to go through and talk about a bunch of stuff. He's been saying some things, about the contract disputes and stuff like that. But today he said something kind of cool. He said that second-year wide receiver Jermaine Burton, who I think should be their slot receiver, has really grown up a lot this offseason, and he should be able to step up and be ready to do some things. Okay, I think he should be your slot receiver for the Bengals. That would help their offense a ton. I wrote an article about slot receivers for the Bengals and wide receivers a couple weeks ago on FootballAnalyst1.com. Check that out. Tennessee Titans quarterback Will Levis says, "Hey man, this sucks. Cam Ward's here. I should be the starter, but now Cam Ward's going to be here competing with me. While it's unpleasant, I'm going to do the best I can." Real sad story from Mayonnaise. Atlanta Falcons also have reported tight end Kyle Pitts is at the team facility for OTAs, but he's rehabbing a foot injury, so he's probably in a boot. Indianapolis Colts GM Shane Steichen says they're going to win this year for Jim Irsay. I believe they'll make the playoffs, and they're considering doing it for Jim Irsay, the deceased owner of the Indianapolis Colts. Pittsburgh Steelers TJ Watt is sitting out of OTAs. He says he wants a contract extension. I'm glad someone else is having that problem. So good job, Steelers, for helping the Bengals out. You're in the same division, and you're having a similar problem with your best edge rusher. I guess he won't get reps either. That's good. Okay. Well, I don't want to wish anything bad on anyone, but I did. It would be on the Steelers. Okay. New England Patriots. Yesterday, I don't know if you saw it on social media, but Stephon Diggs released a weird video of him and his girlfriend Cardi B on a yacht. There were 6 models there. He was passing around a bag of white powder, allegedly. Head coach of the Patriots, Mike Vrabel, says, "Hey, we need to hold us up to a higher standard." Hint, 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 Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs has not come to voluntary OTAs. He's too busy getting high on a boat with some models and Cardi B. All right, I kind of thought picking up Stephon Diggs would be a bad call. He was coming up an injury, and he wasn't that great in Buffalo. And Buffalo thought about resigning him. I'm glad the Patriots did. And they were all excited about it, but now they're being less excited. I like to see that. Good job, Patriots. San Francisco 49ers, former Jacksonville Jaguars assistant GM Ethan Waugh has returned to the 49ers as a personnel executive. It's a very general name. He previously worked for the 49ers before going to Jacksonville. He's been canned. Okay, so that's our NFL news. Now we get into Predict-a-Palooza. Woo woo! Let's go Predict-a-Palooza! Yes! Okay, all right. So first, before we get into Predict-a-Palooza, in the UFL, the players of the week were announced yesterday. Offensive player of the week was Brandon Staley. For Birmingham Stallions. Sorry, Brandon Staley. For Birmingham Stallions, quarterback Jamar Smith. He had a big game. Defensive player of the week was Arlington Renegades linebacker Donald Payne. He had a big week. Special teams player of the week, San Antonio Brahmas running back John Jadu Sheridan. That's all right, I guess. Okay, that's a big sigh for the Brahmas. Next. Last week, the Birmingham Stallions made spring football history on third downs. They went 11 for 13, so had an 85% conversion rate on third downs. And those third downs averaged 10.1 yards to go. So, I mean, it wasn't like they had 3rd and 1. They converted a bunch of times. But they convert 11 out of 13 first downs. Kind of showing how inept the Michigan Panthers defense is. That's more of a diss on the Michigan Panthers defense than a pump up for the Birmingham Stallions offense. DC Defenders will start quarterback Mike DeLello this week against the Battlehawks tomorrow night. Honestly, I don't think it's going to affect that much because I don't think either of them can play a lot of starters. Not saying don't watch the game. I'll probably watch the game. But I think they're both going to sit because there's no reason to get anyone hurt. Okay? Battlehawks are hosting the UFL championship game no matter who wins this game. DC Defenders are going on the road no matter who wins this game, so they both want to be healthy next week. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go through our predictions. First, tomorrow night, May 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. We have the St. Louis Battlehawks, who are first place in the XFL Conference at 7-2. Traveling to the DC Defenders, who are second place in the XFL Conference at 6-3. It is an XFL Conference Championship game preview, okay? I suspect that it's at DC, and it's a meaningless game for both teams. I think the Battlehawks will sit people. Defenders will sit people. I got Defenders win this game because of home field advantage, 20-18. I think it'll be 38 total points. Okay, DraftKings doesn't agree with me. I think it's hard to say what they're thinking. St. Louis Battlehawks are a 1.5-point favorite on the road against the DC, not playing all their guys. DC Defenders are 1.5-point underdog, and the over-under is 42.5. So I'm saying just because of the nature of these teams playing backups, most likely it's going to be under. I got 38 points under 42.5. And I'm going money line DC Defenders. I think that they'll build more drama for next week if DC wins this game. And I think that's what the UFL wants. I do think it's fixed. I think that's why the Brahmas were so bad this year. And I think that it would build more drama if the Defenders won this game, even though it's meaningless. Okay, Saturday, May 31st, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Houston Roughnecks, who are 4-5, travel to Michigan Panthers, who are 6-3. Honestly, this game is meaningless, but the Michigan Panthers are already going to Birmingham for the UFL Conference Championship game. But I see this being a real big detriment to them if they lose to the Houston Roughnecks. I don't think they want to lose. They can't beat the Stallions. We all know that. But I think that they would rather have momentum going into this game. I think it is important for momentum purposes. So I say Michigan Panthers win at home 26-18 in their last home game against the Houston Roughnecks. 26-18. And then they'll score 44 total points. That's going to be close. DraftKings agrees. It says Michigan Panthers. Did I mention? I'm going DC Defenders on the money line of that previous one. Okay, all right. I got Michigan Panthers wins game 26-18. Total points 44 points, and I say DraftKings says Michigan Panthers are a 6.5-point favorite. Roughnecks are a 6.5 underdog. Over-under 44.5. I agree with all that. I'm taking Michigan Panthers on the money line and going under on this. Just barely. I was really close. 44.5. I got 44. So I'm slightly under. But it might go, or it's real close. The best bet would be the money line Panthers. Okay. Sunday, June 1st, 12 p.m. Eastern on ABC. The Arlington Renegades travel to the San Antonio Brahmas in the worst matchup of the week. Arlington Renegades are 4-5 in third place in XFL Conference. San Antonio Brahmas are 1-8 in last place in XFL Conference. I think this will be more of the same for the Brahmas. I got Arlington Renegades winning this game 23-14 in San Antonio. I got total points scored being 41. DraftKings, they agree with me, unfortunately. They say Arlington Renegades are 5.5-point favorites, meaning San Antonio Brahmas are 5.5-point underdogs. They have the over-under at 41.5. Once again, very close to mine. Just because of the nature of this game, it could blow up. Both teams could blow up, but I don't think it will. I think it'll have a lot of backups playing in this game. I think it's going to go 23-14 Arlington Renegades at San Antonio. I think it's going to be total 41 points scored. So I'm going with Arlington Renegades on the money line, and I'm going under 41.5. Okay, Sunday, June 1st, 3 p.m. Eastern on Fox. The last game of the regular season for the UFL this year, Birmingham Stallions 6-3, traveling Memphis Showboats 2-7. Last time they played, great game. Birmingham made a lot of mistakes, came out slow against Memphis. This was at Birmingham and going overtime, and Memphis won in overtime. Okay, I think that Birmingham does not want to go into the playoffs with a loss. They will play some backups. They will move some players around. But I don't think they want to lose to Memphis Showboats 2 times in a row. They don't get swept for the season by Memphis Showboats heading into the USL Conference Championship game. So I have Birmingham win this game 22-16 with 38 total points. DraftKings agrees with me. They have Birmingham Stallions as 6.5-point favorites. And Memphis Showboats at 6.5-point underdogs. They got the over/under at 36.5, so I'm saying it's going to go over. And I think it's going to be a close game. I'm taking Showboats with the 6.5 points on the bet. Memphis Showboats 6.5 points on the bet. I'm not actually betting, and it's just for fun. Just for fun, yes. Okay, so that's our picks from the UFL. All right. Boom. CFL, some personnel moves yesterday. Toronto Argonauts added American defensive lineman Brevin Allen. They released American defensive back Lawrence Johnson. They released American defensive back Quincy Manger. They added from the suspended list American defensive back Mark Milton. Edmonton Elks, they added American kicker Braden Navison, and they released national kicker Campbell Fair. They got a lot of improvements to make though. Montreal Alouettes, they added national kicker Philippe Boyer, and they released American wide receiver Omarion Dollison. And the BC Lions added American defensive lineman Tomasi Lalio, and they released American wide receiver Lynn Bowden Jr. Boop. Okay, now I wasn't going to make predictions on the CFL preseason game because this is hard to predict, especially this week. This is the week most of the backup players will play. They're competing for a roster spot. I'm not going to see a lot of starters. But as I was checking DraftKings, they did have lines for the CFL games. So I'm not doing deep analysis because it's hard to say, who's going to be actually playing in these games for both teams. But boom. All these games are tomorrow night, May 30th. So they have 2 days to make cuts before the end of training camp, and next week's the first game week. Whoop, whoop. That should be great. Let's go Tiger Cats! Let's go Tiger Cats, okay? All right, so first game at 7 p.m. These are all going to be seen on CFL Plus, no matter if you're in Canada or United States or international. It's all on CFL Plus, so I'll be watching. Montreal Alouettes at Ottawa Red Blacks. DraftKings has Red Blacks as a 2.5-point favorite. If you remember last week, they dominated the Montreal Alouettes. I think Montreal will want to come out and show better than they did last week. They're going to be out at Ottawa. They're both going to be playing a lot of backups. I'm picking Montreal on the money line. I just don't think they're going to settle for losing twice to Ottawa in the preseason. But they might. In a similar setup, 7 p.m. Eastern, Hamilton Tiger Cats travel to Toronto Argonauts. Remember last week, Tiger Cats handled the Argonauts pretty easily. But they're both going to be playing a lot of backups, trying to figure out who's going to be cut from the roster. DraftKings favors the Toronto Argonauts by 1.5 points at home. I would do the same. I'm taking Toronto Argonauts with a money line. Meaning this game, getting players in. I think Toronto would not want to lose twice to Hamilton in the preseason. So they may play some of their second stringers longer than Hamilton will. Okay, meaningless game. preseason game. 9 p.m. Eastern, Winnipeg Blue Bombers traveling to Saskatchewan Rough Riders. DraftKings has the Rough Riders favored by 1.5 points. I believe they won last week 15-9 as all field goals. In similar format, I don't think Winnipeg is going to accept losing 2 preseason games to Saskatchewan. So I got Winnipeg on the money line. It's hard to say with points because I don't know how long the Stars are going to play. So if they play at all. 9:30 p.m. Eastern, BC Lions at the Edmonton Elks. Remember last week the Elks got destroyed by Calgary Stampeders. BC Lions are playing their last preseason game. They're traveling to the Elks. I think the Elks will show a little better, but I don't think they're very good. And I think BC Lions have more depth. So because of that, I think BC Lions are going to play backups and they have more depth. And I have them. I'm taking them on the money line. I just don't see the Elks winning that game. But it's preseason and you never know. All right, IFL. Okay, Barry Panthers released wide receiver Fernando Oliveira Quintero, and they added offensive lineman Ethan Hagler. So they're trying to bulk up. We're getting ready for the playoff push. Barry's in a good spot. Number 2, run game behind the Arizona Rattlers. So it's a big time to load up and get ready for the playoffs. Green Bay Blizzard, they have activated from the CFL exemption list kicker Andrew Mavis, so he'll be back kicking. And they released kicker James Turner because they got the kicker back, so they released the other guy. Massachusetts Pirates made a ton of moves yesterday. They're doing something. They're trying to get off the mat after losing to Northern Arizona last time. They added defensive lineman Jacques Bristol. They added offensive lineman Dante Lucas. They added defensive back Teldrick Ross. They added offensive lineman Dante Lucas. They released defensive back Donnie Lewis Jr. They released quarterback Aeneas Dennis. I thought they released him previously too, so I guess it shows how good they are. They released him twice. They released defensive lineman Jablonski Green Jr. They released offensive lineman Ryan Johnson. They activated from the short-term injured list defensive back Matt Elam, and then an odd move, they activated from the season injured list. You'd think if he's on the season injured list, he'd be done for the year. But they activated wide receiver Javon Tootie. Okay? Tootie. More Pirates moves. They moved to the short-term IR list defensive lineman Dominic Quiron. Okay? And they moved to the short-term injured list, defensive back Destin Mack. And then they had offensive lineman Nick Ford retire. He retired. He's like, no, man, I'm good. All right, so with that in mind, now mental note, checking. The first IFL game this week is tonight, which is why I'm doing Predict-a-Palooza today. But the DraftKings did not release their IFL lines yet. So I'll probably we'll check out this Jacksonville this first game, but then I'll give a prediction. But we won't really know how to sync stuff with the IFL DraftKings lines until either tonight or tomorrow. So I'll update this then. So first game this week. This is week 11, Thursday, May 29th, 7:05 p.m. Eastern. The Jacksonville Sharks, who are 6-2, travel Massachusetts Pirates, who are 2-5. If you remember last time in Jacksonville, Pirates beat the Sharks. Sharks were beat up a little bit. Sharks took a loss. That made the Sharks, I believe, 2-3, 3-2. They're now 6-2, so they've not lost since that game. And Massachusetts got beaten by Northern Arizona Wranglers, and they're moving all of their parts around. So I suspect this is a buy or sell situation. So it looks like Jacksonville Sharks, I think they're going to win this game 43-34. I think it will be a good game. It will be a bit of a shootout, 43-34. Unless, the Pirates quarterback turns the ball over a bunch, it could be worse than that. But I think it'll be 43-34. Total point score is 77. We don't know the DraftKings information yet. Friday, May 30th, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Quad City Steamers, who are on a 2-game losing streak at 6-2, are traveling to the Tulsa Oilers, who have turned things around to 6-2. I predict this will be a very complicated game. Last time they played, it was in Green Bay. Nope, it wasn't. Wrong game. I got Tulsa Oilers win this game 46-43. I think they'll control the pace of the game. I think they'll shoot it out with Quad City, but I think Quad City still is not healthy, and that's why they're in a 2-game losing streak. But once you get on a streak in IFL, it's hard to turn it around. Boom, Friday, May 30th, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. These can all be seen on the IFL Network. Fisher's Freight, 2-6, 6-game losing streak. Travel to the Green Bay Blizzard, who have turned things up since dropping the 3 losses. Green Bay Blizzard's offense has been on fire. Fisher's Freight has struggled on all points to execute well enough. They can play close, but they can't get over the top, which I expected that to be the case for an expansion team. Obviously, the 2-0 start was fool's gold. But Green Bay Blizzard hosting the Fisher's Freight. I have this game going 49-40. Green Bay over Fishers, 89 total points scored. We don't know the line on that yet. Okay, from DraftKings. Saturday, May 31st, 9:05 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Rattlers, who are 7-1, travel to the Vegas Nighthawks, who are 4-4, who lost for the second time this year to the San Diego Strike Force. I think that's a bad sign. They are very talented, and they're at home. I got this game going Arizona 51, Vegas Nighthawks 39. We'll find out what DraftKings thinks in the future. Okay, Saturday, May 31st, 9:05 p.m. Northern Arizona Wranglers, who are 1-7, travel to San Diego Strike Force. I think the Strike Force scare me in terms of consistency, but they are a better team. Northern Arizona did beat Massachusetts. I just think San Diego's a better team, but I don't think they're going to blow away they're not the teams that blow away teams. So I have San Diego winning at home 35-31 with 66 total points scored. We'll see what DraftKings thinks in the future. Saturday, May 31st at 9:05 p.m. We got San Antonio Gunslingers at Tucson Sugar Skulls. Sugar Skulls have played better recently, but they didn't play last week. San Antonio Gunslingers have played recently, but they beat the San Diego Strike Force last time they played. So, I mean, that's in overtime. So they got a chance. I just think Tucson's a better team, and they're at home. I think it's 37-30 Tucson over San Antonio. If it ends up being a shootout, though, San Antonio can steal this game, but I think Tucson and Billy Back as their head coach would be willing to slow things down and keep it lower scoring, and that would be to the Tucson Sugar Skulls' benefit. And I have them win the game 37-30 and being in position to make a playoff run. Okay, NAL. Last week of the NAL, kind of a meaningless week. Everything's been set. Omaha Beef will host the Colorado Spartans next week in the National Conference Championship game, and then Beaumont will host Columbus Lions in the American Conference Championship game. I believe it will be Omaha and Columbus in the championship game, with Omaha winning convincingly. Omaha Beef, they have placed wide receiver Bentley Allen on a season-ending IR list. That's why they tried to sign a receiver yesterday, but they didn't replace him. I guess he just didn't fit into the model. That's the only recent transaction. These games are on Saturday, so Saturday, May 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern, Willie Miners travel to Columbus Lions. Willie Miners are out of the playoff run. They lost to Columbus at home last week. I have Columbus winning this game. Columbus is motivated to finish the season strong and go into the American Conference game, but they could also rest their players. So, I mean, it could be a moment where it flips it, but I don't think I would feel comfortable. If I was Columbus, they've been sketchy enough. I don't think I would want to lose momentum. So I think they'll beat the Miners 42-19 in Columbus. Beaumont Renegades got a forfeit win against the Miami or Alabama, something or others. They didn't actually play. So Beaumont Renegades are coming off a week of rest. They're traveling to the Shreveport Rougarou. Last time they played, Beaumont beat the Shreveport Rougarou, I think 55-54. That was in Shreveport. I think Beaumont is coming in rested up. Shreveport's coming in beat up, and they lost a lot of players in that fight with the Dallas Force. I don't think they're the same team they were before, but I think they have something that allows them to compete well against the Beaumont Renegades. So I have Beaumont Renegades winning this game 56-48, 8 p.m. on Saturday. 56-48, Beaumont Renegades. And then we have 9 p.m. Omaha Beef at Colorado Spartans. Okay. And basically, this is complicated. They're going to play each other in Omaha in the National Conference Championship game. So Omaha could rest people, Colorado could rest people. But here's what I'd say. No one's going to rest anyone because Omaha Beef, they started the season slow. They do not want to take a chance to lose a game to Colorado and come out slow next week and lose all the momentum they built over the season. Colorado Spartans I really don't believe they can beat Omaha, so they want to show they can beat Omaha. So I think they'll play this thing pretty hard. As long as both teams sustain injuries, if injuries are sustained, it won't affect the outcome of the National Conference Championship game. So I think they'll play this game like a regular game. I got Omaha Beef winning this game 61-31. 61-31. Boop. Okay. In the ELF, it is a super Predict-a-Palooza. We got all these predictions. So, in the ELF, the European League of Football, Stuttgart Surge, they have signed wide receiver Michael Harley Jr., who played for Miami Dolphins, Cleveland Browns, Calgary Stampeders in the CFL, and they removed Cotton Jr. And he had 4 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown last week. But they got shut out by the Paris Musketeers. I don't know. It's a hard team to read. I wasn't expecting to get shut out by Paris, honestly. Fairbar and Throners, they have signed Hungarian quarterback Mate Hegedus. Okay. American quarterback Brock Doman has an injury. Was on the injured list. Fairbar is going to start a Hungarian quarterback. I would normally think that's going to spell failure, but they're playing the Prague Lions, who are not great either. So I think they have a chance for Mate Hegedus to start off the season well. The Nordic Storm, who surprised me last week with their amazing passing game without Glenn Tunget running back. They have signed Swedish linebacker Jordan Genmark Heath. He played for Paris last year. And during his ELF career, he's spent some times in ELF. He's played 51 ELF games. He had 97 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery. He played for Paris last year, and they were really good last year. So I think he's a good player, and he just keeps adding more depth. And he's Swedish, so he gets to come play close to home. And he adds a lot of depth to the Nordic Storm's defense. Madrid Bravos. They have placed defensive lineman Pierre Yves Maho on the injured reserve list. He'll be out for a while. He's a pretty good player. He's gone now. And Vienna Vikings, big injury on the Vienna Vikings. They are not going to have Kari Pajorinen as their running back. He's been an amazingly good running back for Vienna Vikings. They're a heavy running team. He's on the injured reserve list, so he's been out for a while with a shoulder injury. I think that's going to be a huge diss on the Vienna Vikings. Okay, so then we go into our predictions. Saturday, there's a bunch of games on Saturday. Saturday, May 31st, Prague Lions who are 0-2, going to Fairbar and Throners who are 0-2. Someone's going to win this game. I think it's a pretty much even matchup. I think being in Hungary, the Fairbar and Throners have played a little better on offense and a little better on defense, so I see them winning this game by a little bit, 20-17. Fairbar and Throners over to Prague Lions to go to 1-2, and Prague will drop to 0-3. Saturday, May 31st, the T-Roll Raiders, who are 1-1, travel to the Cologne Centurions, who are 0-1. While the records are both, 1-1 and 0-1, neither are stellar records. Cologne Centurions got destroyed by the Berlin Thunder, who did not show up last week against, I think they played last week. I forget who they played. I got T-Roll Raiders winning this game 25-7. I think Cologne is going to have a hard time stopping them and a hard time scoring points. Saturday, May 31st, the Stuttgart Surge, who got shut out last week by Paris. They're 1-1. They're traveling to the Hamburg Sea Devils, who are 1-1, who have played a tough game and they lost, and they played a tough game and they won. It's going to be a tough game. But they are starting quarterback Talia Tagovailoa. I think that'll be a big boost for them. So I have the Hamburg Sea Devils winning at home against Stuttgart Surge 20-17. Okay, Saturday, May 31st, Helvetic Mercenaries who are 0-2, travel with Madrid Bravos who are 1-1. I think this is a no-brainer. I don't think Helvetic's going to beat a good team like Madrid, although Madrid's not as good as they have been. Their second year. So last year, they're not as good as that. They've seen some changes to their roster. I think they'll come out and play better than Helvetic, and I think they'll win 24-16 over the Mercenaries. Okay, Sunday. There's 3 games on Sunday. And the Elf, Sunday, June 1st. Paris Musketeers, who are 1-1. Travel to Frankfurt Galaxy, who are 1-1. I think Paris is starting to turn things up. I don't think they'll shut out Frankfurt. Frankfurt's played really well on offense this year so far. Paris has played pretty average on offense so far this year. Of course, their defense is pretty solid, but I think that might be a reflection on Stuttgart Surge not playing well. So I have this game going. It's going to be a tightly contested game. I got Frankfurt Galaxy to win this game at home 35-20. If they don't, I don't think they'll finish well in the standings, but I believe they'll win this game 35-20, and they'll be showing that they're back, and Paris will be in trouble early in the season. Saturday, June 21st, Berlin Thunder, 1-1. They had a huge scoring explosion against Cologne. I think it's more of a reflection of how bad Cologne is. Last week, they struggled to score points. They're playing to the Nordic Storm, who's probably the best team in the league. Their passing game's awesome, and their defense is amazingly good, and it's that stronger with that linebacker from Paris, who's a Swedish linebacker. The Storm are playing their first home game. I got them to win this game 46-24 over Berlin. I think Berlin will score points, but I don't think they'll score enough to win the game. So I have Nordic Storm beating Berlin Thunder 46-24. Just because of the situation. Vienna Vikings, 2-0. They lost Kari Pajarinen, though. They traveled to the Rhine Fire, who 1-0. This is a rematch of last year's Elf Championship game, although the Rhine Fire have changed a lot since then. The Vienna Vikings have the major injury at running back, so I think both teams will come in. It's not looking quite the same as last year. But I have the Vienna Vikings winning the game at Rhine, 30-17. They say it's not a grudge match, but I don't think they would like to lose the Rhine Fire again. And I think they're the better team as long as their quarterback doesn't fold on itself. So I got Vienna win the game 30-17. Let's go Vikings. Okay, good. So that is the Predict-a-Palooza. That's everything for the week so far, and that's we're going to see that game tonight, Jacksonville and Massachusetts. Hopefully Jacksonville plays well. And we'll see how it plays out. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Football Scientific with me, Aaron Sauter, and Tyler the Tiger. Let's go. Let's get our predictions right. Okay, I hope you enjoyed Tyler the Tiger. And remember, check out articles on footballanalysis1.com. I'll be writing some fantasy articles over the next couple days. And then after some football work today, I'm gonna write I might write this after the video, a CFL article about the Tiger Cats traveling to Toronto for their second preseason game being played tomorrow night. All right, a quick preview of what I expect to see from the Tiger Cats in that game. That should be on CFL News Hub probably before like 3 o'clock today. All right, well, I hope you have a good night. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Football Scientific. Remember, if you like the video, hit like, boop. And then if you enjoy the channel, hit subscribe, boop. Okay, and I'll be back tomorrow. Most likely I get a medical procedure done tomorrow, so I'm not sure how aware I'll be. So as long as I'm functional, I'll be back tomorrow to talk about some updates and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Football Scientific, the portal is closed.